Welcome to The Explainer. Today, we are diving into a term that, let's be honest, scares the heck out of traders, the margin call. We're going to break down what it is, how it happens, and most importantly, how you can steer clear of it. So before we get all technical, let's just start with the feeling. Because when you ask a trader what getting a margin call feels like, well, it's pretty much this. It's that sinking, gut punch feeling, a moment of pure panic that everyone in the game is trying to avoid. All right, so what is this dreaded thing? At its heart, a margin call is basically a warning light that flashes when your paper losses, your floating losses, get so big they start eating into the money you put up for the trade, your used margin. Sounds a little complicated, I know, but stick with me. We're going to make it super clear. Think of it like this. It's a warning flare shot up by your broker. It's that automated email or notification that pops up on your phone saying, hey, your account's health is in the danger zone. It means your equity is getting way too low for the amount of margin you're using. Okay, now this is super important because this is where a lot of people get confused. You've got two terms that sound almost the same, but they are totally different things: the margin call level and the margin call. Nailing this difference is absolutely critical. So first up, we have the margin call level. Just think of this as a line in the sand. It's a specific percentage that your broker sets. A very common one is 100%. And the key thing here, it's a fixed number. It doesn't change. And then you have the margin call. This is not the line itself. This is the event. It's what happens the moment your account's health, your margin level, which is bouncing around all the time with the market, finally drops and touches that fixed line. So let's boil it down. The level is the threshold. The call is the event. One is a static, unchanging number, right? The other is the alarm bell that goes off the second you hit that number. Simple as that. You know what? To make this stick, the source we're looking at has this absolutely brilliant analogy. Honestly, if you forget everything else, just remember this one thing: boiling water. Okay, so picture this. Your entire trading account is like a pot of water sitting on a stove, and the overall health of your account, that's just the temperature of the water. And this is where it all clicks. Your margin level, that's the water's temperature right now. It could be 47 degrees, then 89 degrees. It's always changing. It's dynamic. But the margin call level, that's the boiling point. It is always 100 degrees Celsius. It's a fixed physical constant. Right, so the water can be any temperature. It can be lukewarm, it can be hot. But the instant it hits 100 degrees, something happens. It boils. That boiling moment, that's your margin call. It's not the temperature itself. It's the event that happens at that temperature. Okay, analogy time is over. Let's walk through a real-world example, step by step, to see how a perfectly fine account can suddenly find itself in hot water. Pun intended. All right, so let's say you've got $1,000 in your account. You decide to open a trade, and your broker sets aside $200 of that as collateral. That's your used margin. Right now, nothing's happened, so your equity is still $1,000. And your margin level, it's sitting at a super healthy 500%. You're in a great spot. But then, well, as the source material so eloquently puts it, you have a sucky trade. The market just turns on you. It moves against you hard and fast, and your trade starts bleeding money. How fast? Well, before you know it, you're looking at a floating loss of $800. Ouch. That $800 gets wiped straight off your account's equity. So let's do the math. You started with $1,000, you're down $800, that leaves your equity at just $200. Now remember, your used margin for that trade is still $200. So what's your margin level? It's your equity divided by your used margin. 200 divided by 200, yep, that's exactly 100%. And what happens at 100%? Ding, ding, ding. That's it. The alarm bells are ringing. You've just hit the margin call level, and that dreaded notification from your broker lands in your inbox. At this point, you're locked out of opening any new trades. All you can do is deal with the ones you've got. So the clock is ticking. You've got two main ways out of this mess. Option 1, deposit more money into your account. That'll boost your equity and push your margin level back up. Option 2, start closing some of your positions. That frees up your used margin and also helps get you back into the safe zone. But what if you don't do anything? Maybe you can't deposit more funds, or maybe you're just frozen, hoping the trade turns around. What happens if that sucky trade just keeps getting, well, suckier? This, my friends, is where things go from really bad to truly catastrophic. Because if your margin level keeps dropping, if it falls below that 100% margin call level, you cross another line into an even more dangerous territory. We're way past warnings now. This is what's called the stop out level. It's an even lower percentage, let's say 50%. And when you hit this level, it's game over for that trade. The decision is no longer yours. Your broker system will step in and automatically start liquidating your positions, usually starting with the one that's losing the most money. They're doing it to stop the bleeding and protect both you and them. Let's bring it back to our pot of water one last time. If the margin call is the water just starting to boil, the stop out is the pot boiling over, splashing everywhere, and giving you a nasty burn. This is when the real permanent damage happens. So let's just make this crystal clear. A margin call is a warning. A stop out is the automated consequence. Think of it this way. The margin call is the sign that says, danger, cliff edge ahead. The stop out is you actually falling off the cliff. And that's why understanding this is so important for survival. And all of this leads us to the real million-dollar question, doesn't it? Okay, so you know what a margin call is now. You get the mechanics. But the true skill, the real art of trading, it's not just knowing about it. It's about managing your risks so effectively that you never even get close to hearing that water start to boil in the first place.